There is nothing in the review that was presented to me that in any way contradicted my earlier statements that this appalling set of circumstances that we've seen arise had nothing to do with my office.
That's what actually happened in the bite. In the middle of it, there was a flash of white lightning, and then he just continued. Anyway, what Illinois Governor Blagojevich needs is a nice bowl of chicken soup. Not the kind you eat, the soul-searching literary series you read, like the one Todd Thomas wrote, saying, when you lose the ability to inspire, you lose the ability to lead, and in time you lose something else, likely your job. I guess the Gov is long past that point, Todd, though. What happens now?
Well, you know, he's got to make a decision. I mean, I think you have to look at the situation and go, what exactly are you waiting for? I mean, what do you expect to happen next?
You know, though, I can kind of relate to him a little bit. If people were trying to push me out of my job, I would nail my fingers to the set. I really would, because I just wouldn't want to leave under those circumstances, so I would stay like the crazy uncle. Now, I know now he's become the crazy uncle, but there is a process here. It's going to take a long time to see if he's certifiable, which I guess they're trying to find out, and then it's going to take a long time to impeach the dude. So he's there, right?
Yeah, he's there, but, you know, the problem is that it's not just a problem for him. I mean, it's a problem for everybody. It's a problem for all of the Democrats. It's a problem if you're a politician.
But they can't talk rationally to him. You're a rational guy who's written very eloquently, almost spiritually, about how leaders sort of take on a tone of commitment and camaraderie, and none of that is here. So now I know he's been, what, he was elected in 2002, re-elected in 2006. Right. At what point did they realize in Illinois, my gosh, we might have Norman Bates on our hands?
Well, you know, I think that they were very careful in this. I think they took their time. Now, whether they should have taken as long or not is another question. I think it's interesting that the results of all of the taping have come out when they have. But
what did you think of those transcripts? I mean, I'm thinking of you. You're one of the nice guys, and I don't think you've ever cursed in your life. And then every other bleeping line from this guy is colorful. Let's put it that way. And I think if you offered him chicken soup for the soul, he would fling it back in your face. So how does someone like you reconcile that?
Yeah, you know what? I sleep pretty well with that. I think that I think the problem here, you know, we've developed this culture where we only measure results, and so a lot of his message about some of the initiatives that he's accomplished, I mean, he defines himself in that way, and of course the problem is that, at least based on what we've heard from the transcripts, there's not a lot of integrity. And
yeah, but he was getting enough done to get reelected. So there was a point where it turned. And what I want to ask you, and I know you've written about this idea of what happens to people when they're in authority, and after a while they get a big head. You know, this I know quite intimately. And I'm wondering at what point someone either in their family or close confidants have to say, you know, Gov, slow down. But that never happened. What's the advice, the takeaway here?
Well, you know, it might have happened. The problem is that once my story is about myself, I mean, I have a suspicion that Blagojevich sees himself as one of the best governors Illinois has ever had. I'm not
well, that's actually
sure
quite a low
what
bar,
his end game is right now.
That's quite a low bar, saying you're the best governor Illinois.
Yeah, well, you know, the problem here is that at this stage, he hasn't indicated at all that he sees a problem. So in terms of an apology, in terms of remorse, in terms of the kinds of things we want our leaders to do when they screw up, you know, he hasn't shown any of that. And I think it's difficult now to look at the situation with a rational mind because we just don't know what's going on in his head. I think, however, the move being made at this moment, in my opinion, is the right one. I mean, I'm all about giving people chances and coaching and developing and all of this. And, you know, even then, there comes a point where you say, you know what, this has to end. And I don't blame the legislature for what they're trying to do. I do think.
Well, a little bit. But I do blame the legislature for. I know, but Todd, what I blame the legislature. This is news to you. I mean, if you knew this guy was a problem, you knew he had like a pretty, you know, loose tongue, and you knew he could be a little nutty at times. Apparently, they did. That was the talk up there. Then this is like a shock to you. It'd be like someone coming up to me and saying, I had no idea you like bakery products. I don't know where that came from. And I would just say, like, you know, what are you, right?
Yeah. You know, the thing is that there comes a point where if you work for me, Neil, and or I work for you, and I see that this is going to be a problem, if I start to challenge you, then I'm going to be also admitting that I've been complicit, either through not doing it before.
Very good point.
And, you know, so I hold back and I wait and I think, okay, this term will end. Surely this man can't do something as stupid as, I don't know, get caught on wire tape.
Yeah, when you know the government's looking at it. But see, that wouldn't happen to you. And you've remained a very nice guy. You've got like 58 different master's degrees and all these best-selling books. And you stayed a nice guy. Yeah. As have I, by the way. But that's just me. But Todd,
clearly.
Todd, thank you very much. A great guest. I appreciate it.
Neil, it's my pleasure.
All right, Todd Thomas. Well, you know, he allegedly made off with billions.